celebrate all those small wins is probably something that's super important for everybody to keep focus on. Time is a great storyteller, and so when you look back, take some of those small wins because those small wins do lead up to big wins. And whether it's on an annual basis, whether on a weekly basis or a daily basis, make sure that you're taking that time to create that story for yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with Trevor Hanks, who's the CEO of 360 Destination Group and CSI DMC, which is a destination management company. I think we should probably elaborate. So, welcome, Trevor. So good to talk with you.
So nice to be here. Thanks for having me on.
So I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on my deeper questions. But first, I have to ask, what's your favorite donut?
I thought about this. I know this is kind of a big thing to start off with and stuff. And tried and true, old fashioned is where I usually go to. But I have to say, and I don't know if it is a donut, but I love donut holes too because of the variety. Even though it's not something you just take in one bite, but even comically, my wife always gives me a hard time because I love sharing meals. I like trying half of hers, half of mine. So donut holes are perfect for me because I can try three or four different.
I love this answer. It's so there's such like a psychological thing that happens when people answer this
Yeah,
question. It's
for
so good.
sure.
The variety of donut holes is really what floats your boat. It's so good. Well, I'd said just a little bit about you up front, but tell us more about yourself in general. What should we know about you?
So, grew up Southern California. I was there for quite a few years and actually went to school. I was at University of Colorado, Buffalo, very proud Buffalo back in the 90s. And then COVID actually picked me up and moved me out to Florida. I come from a family that was in the hospitality business. They were kind of the origins. You mentioned destination management company, and just to simplify it in the maximum terms, we do everything for corporations, whether it's sales trips, incentive trips, national sales meetings. We do everything from the time people get off the plane to the time they get back on the plane to go home. So we don't really own anything. We're the general contractor who's going to have the transportation company. They're going to have all the staff that meet you at the airport, the activities you do while you're in that town, all the decor and the evening events, the entertainment, everything that goes along within that conference. We partner with any company that does these along with the hotels. So most of our work will happen in hotels or in conjunction with hotels across the country. So we are pretty much in all major cities across the US now. But grew up in the business. My parents started a small version of this company in San Diego in 1978. And then I kind of grew up around it, in it. I always said I was the cheapest labor they could find to load buses and suck gas fumes and load coolers. So that was my claim to fame in my teens. But I just loved it. I love what it is, the fun side of it. Obviously, it's become much more of a billion. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry now in conjunction with hotels and hospitality. But it's been a great path the entire time. Ups and downs for sure. But it's been a great road to get here.
Wow. Well, that is such a great overview to start out. And, thank you for sharing the bigger picture of what's been going on in your world. Let me reset this for those who haven't seen a Take the Donut interview before. So basically, for me, Take the Donut is another way to say carpe diem. It's all about going after the things that you want in life. And for me, it started with this very strange thing that happened in college where I left a real donut on a table, but it became almost immediately an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave opportunities behind. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take the donut. So this conversation really is all about going after opportunity in life. And what does that look like, practically speaking, when we go to do it? So let me start with this question for you. How are you with going after goals? What is that process like for you?
For me, I'm a big write things down person. I love to have lists to see what I need to do. It's become, and I'll get a little further into it now with the size of the company and some of the mergers we've had. But for me, I'd love to put down at the end of each year, my wife and I sit down and we do our goals, kind of our BHAG goals. big, hairy, audacious goals for each subsequent year. And it's a good way to get them down because if you don't write them down and you don't have something that all of a sudden you go back, you're like, I need a couple check marks. I love check marks. So to have that checklist and even if it's not visual all the time, I know they always say whatever you do, you visualize, you get to your goals quicker. But I like to go back every couple months and kind of see what progress I've made, whether that's financial, family, personal, friendships, athletics, everything. Health is a big one these days too. So I love being able to go back and see how I'm scaling against the projects and the goals that I have for the entire year.
Mm. How often do you actually write down goals? I mean, obviously you have yearly goals. How much do you break down goals across the year?
So I actually don't break down too much from an annual goal. Now I do sit down every week, pretty much Monday. Monday morning is kind of my quiet time. I think everybody still gets the Sunday quivers. My sleep on Sundays is usually I'm thinking about so many things. I don't know if that's my best night of the sleep because I'm always thinking about Monday. So I like to kind of get them down if there's main projects. I sit down and make sure that they are written down for the week. They change 900 times throughout the week, and that list continues to get added. But I do find that Mondays for me, kind of a Monday morning, is a great time for me to have somewhat of a clear head going into the week. What do I need to do? Where am I traveling? To be able to kind of dissect and figure out how I'm going to tackle this week. I do spend a good amount of time on the road, airplanes, different offices, conferences, presentations, whatever it might be. So kind of planning that out and also planning around family activities. I think I've mentioned, I have five daughters. So I have a fairly busy house. Two kids are out of college and doing their thing, but I have three kids still in the house. So that's always a priority to make sure I'm around for them as well.
Mm. When you have really big goals that you're moving towards, and it sounds like that's most of what's on your mind when you're doing these big annual goals. So if you know it's going to take a while to get there, there's going to be a lot of steps along the way. What keeps you motivated in that process?
Never have I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing, but I don't think I ever lack motivation. I do like my sleep. I need my 7 to 8 hours a night. That kind of recharges me. And if I get tired, I definitely find a fall off. But for me, the motivation's always there. If I see something, whether it's a triathlon, whether it's something as simple as making sure I make plans to go out to dinner with my wife on a Thursday night, everything is able to be broken down, but I never lose motivation. I think that's good. I always seem to have enough energy in the tank and I'm always going. Now sometimes that also can hinder me because I'm a bit of a fixer, and so I will help out others sometimes that will work into some of my personal time, which is okay to an extent, but I definitely have to make sure I set boundaries. And for me, 6 o'clock, I'm done with work on almost all nights. Go down, have dinner with the family, kind of download. I need to stop looking at screens. I need to stop being on phone calls. So I try and set some pretty clear boundaries. And so that's how I'm able to kind of focus when the time I'm working, and everybody knows that.
Mm. When we go after things, a lot of times challenges come up, obstacles come in our way. And I'm curious for you, especially as somebody who sounds like you're very self-motivated and motivation is not that much of a struggle for you. But when challenges do come up, I'm curious for you if there's a particular brand of challenge that just keeps coming up over and over again, no matter what you're working on. So, like, no matter what's coming up for you, personal, professional goal, whatever it is, you're probably going to encounter this Achilles heel, this challenge. What is it?
For me, what I notice is uh, as CEO, I'm a bit of a ringmaster because what I find is people are very emotional. And our company, like I said, we don't have assets. We are people. We're a people business. All of our assets are people. That's what part of what I love about our business and industry. But people learn, they react differently. Employees have personal issues, they have business issues, they have financial issues, and successes. So for me, I want to be authentic all the time. And that's what I think has allowed me to do the best I can in the career that I've chosen is that authenticity because I'm not going to use car sales you. I'm not going to give you some wide way out there idea scope. I'm the one who kind of the calm voice all the time. And I find that many times I'm kind of pulling people off that ledge because they get so amped up and they're so immediate in their reaction. Let's take the night. Let's take 24 hours. Let's readdress this in 24 hours. Because I find I'm pretty even keel and I do that on purpose because people are very emotional and I want to make sure that we're making the best decision together. If you need my help, happy to do it, but let's make the decision together. And sometimes you just need a little bit of time, a little bit of weight to be able to really absorb that. Let's look at it from all angles. There's a reason someone else is saying something. Let's see their point of view. Might be right, might be somewhere in between, might be completely wrong. But let's come at it with a clear mind and not a motivated just ambush on someone if something's not going the way you want it to.
What an interesting quality to bring to execution of events and projects like this. Because as somebody who did events for a long time, I know how stressful that environment can be and how big the fires seem to be when you need to put them out. And so, like to be able to sort
100%.
of bring it down a notch, I think,
Yeah.
is where we do our best work. And it's hard to get to that space, but if it starts with you, then maybe your whole team can feel it that way.
It is, and the positivity is another thing. I would say I'm not Pollyanna, but I'm also Mr. Positive. And sometimes even people might make fun of me because I always have a positive light on just about anything. There's some bad things that happen, but if you start with the positivity side of it, chances are that you're going to lean towards the positive end result. If you start negative, when things go well, you're like, wow, it was lucky. It wasn't lucky. It's really if you go at it with the mindset of positivity, things filter out from there. People enjoy being around happy people. Nobody likes being around naysayers and negative Nellies. People enjoy being around positive people. So I feel if I can bring positivity to it, even though I know maybe tomorrow, the next day, the next week, we might have to change direction. We might have to absorb a little bit of what's being said, some of the decisions that have to be made because not all decisions are easy and they're not fun and they're not always going to be in the positive angle. But if it's the right decision from a business standpoint, let's absorb it. Let's think positively. We can get past the negative side of it. Then you find that people, even if you have to come back with a negative outcome on something they've brought to you, at least they know you've been heard. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction where all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, no, we're doing this, XYZ, taking that time and listening to the people. You have to listen. You have to be a good communicator in any leadership role. And I know that's kind of leadership 101, but being in the position now, 350 employees, day in and day out, I feel like I'm constantly kind of being that moderator. Okay, I hear you. Let's think about it. Let's think about some of the positives, some of the negatives, and come together with a solution so we can communicate out to the rest of the team, to your subordinate, to your superior, whatever that might be. And there's no job too small, no job too big in our company that I am always open. That is one of the things I always keep my door open. When I say door these days, it's virtual Teams call. But the door is always open, and I love when people do call. There are times I'm not going to have all the time that someone might want, but they're always allowed to get a hold of me, have a call. I like connecting like that.
Mm. Well, when you think back on your life, and this could be a personal or professional answer, what would you say is the biggest donut you've ever taken? And we're talking biggest opportunity you've said yes to, biggest goal you've gone after. What comes up for you?
Yeah. Well, there's really, I would say, three kind of life-altering things that happened to me in life. One would have been buying the company, the DMC my parents had back in 2008, right in the middle of I was going through a divorce. Uh, 2 months later, the financial crisis happened, so 2008, which was insanity. That was just a really tough time for any industry, for any business, along with going through a divorce. But then, really, the second one that changed my life in the biggest way would have been COVID. As so many people did deal with it, I didn't have health issues. I wasn't around too many people that had the health issue, but from a business standpoint, the last thing corporations were doing at that point is send their people on airplanes to be in big convention centers, to be in conference rooms. Our business went away. March 15th, 2020 will live with me forever. because that was the day that basically everything came crashing down. And my business partner at the time, Shelly Archer, we made a pact with each other. No, we had never been through that. We had 135 employees. We went down to 22 over the next 2 months. Just literally, the faucet was cut off overnight, and all that money had to be refunded to the clients. So from a financial standpoint, it was just earth shattering. We pivoted a bit to virtual events, which is not my favorite. I can only see the cast of Hamilton on Teams so many times. It was cool first or second time, but then there's only so much you can do, whether it's comedians, all that stuff. But what it allowed to do, some of the greatest gifts I've ever gotten have come in crazy ways. And this was one of them because for me, COVID 2020 was horrendous, terrible. Shelly and I were in the office every day. We communicate, we talk, we try and communicate to our staff the best we could, hoping that you kind of get, you don't know what that road was ahead. You didn't know meetings were going to come back. You didn't know if people were going to get on airplanes. There were so many unknowns. And so, but out of that, as we started to kind of come out of that, I had some other licensees with the company in certain destinations, and they went off to do their own things. You know, they're trying to survive as well, completely understand that. But what it allowed Shelly and I to do is to really, from the ground zero, rebuild this company. As we've been around for so long, yeah, there's always exceptions. There's always little nuances. There's people you promote, whether they're worth the title, but they've been there for a long time, whether they haven't been paid high enough. What do we want to be when we grow up? So it allowed us to kind of step back and build the org chart, build what this organization could be. And for us, it also allowed us full authority over every single proposal, contract. We could build this company the way it should be built. And so as we came out of COVID, really 2023 was the year that things came back for us. Some 22, but mostly 2023 is when things started to hockey stick for our industry in general. And so as you bring people back on, as the business starts coming back, it was wonderful. But now it got us to the place that we have just merged with another large DMC, one of the other large DMCs in the industry, to become the largest in North America. But it's done the right way. And we would not, pre COVID, or even if we stayed in that same structure during COVID, we would not be able to get to the level and the success we have to date.
So yeah, sometimes you have to sort of strip things down and
Big
start
time.
from the beginning and make sure everything's lean and efficient to allow things to grow later. And it sounds like you've been able to stick around to see that payoff. So what's a donut that you're taking right now? What's in progress for you?
So the biggest donut right now, as I mentioned, we recently had merged with another large DMC. And so the wonderful part about it is a lot of the destinations that they handled, there's some crossover, but for the most part, they were in destinations we did not handle. And my goal throughout my entire career has been to handhold clients as they go from San Diego to Miami to New York to Chicago, because the relationship, it's an industry that is built on relationships. There have been times where that's been taken away a bit, and it gets a little bit more Excel doc, but relationships are the foundation of the hospitality industry. And that's what makes it so fun. That's what's so enjoyable about this business. So right now we are in the integration of 102 companies that had 170 people. And as the CEO, I'm supposed to be looked at, and I am looked at, how can I make sure that we're getting kind of that same thing? You're stripping it down. What does this organization need to look like? Because when you are the size we are now, we still need to keep that small company feel and that personal, authentic connection. That's the foundation of our company is authenticity. And so making sure I'm spending enough time with the employees I didn't know before that might have been with the other company, and making sure that my family and the employees that we have are feeling that same love and TLC that they had for so many years with me. So that by far right now, it's all about the integration. And there's a new brand that's going to come out. That'll be September, October. So there's just so many working pieces. When you take two different comp plans, you take two different titles of companies. And so to try and merge those, it's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of consultants. It's a lot of bringing people together. What are best practices in both companies? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work right now, but it's good and it's fulfilling. And sometimes one of the things is those baby steps. All those little successes create the big success. Like you were saying, I have the goal of I know where I want to get it, and every day you have to just keep chipping away. Every single little bit, you got to keep chipping away of what that looks like to get to that end goal. I can see it. I know it's there. I know, and also I'm not the most patient person in the world. So sometimes I got to check myself on patience because things can't just happen overnight. And so you have to plot that out. You have to be patient that sometimes you're going to have to take two steps forward, then takes one step back, and then two steps forward. So that's kind of process right now. And that's by far the biggest donut I'm dealing with on a daily basis.
Wow. Well, good luck in that process. And,
Thank you.
there may be people who are watching this right now who have a donut of their own that they want to take. And it could still be an ideation phase, or it could be something that they've started to move towards and they're looking for inspiration to keep going. So let's sprinkle some encouragement. And what would you say to those people?
Yeah. Well, for me, as the foundation of life is family first. That's a priority, whether it's always family first. You got to make time for loved ones, whether that's family, friends, whatever that might be. The other one is authenticity. I feel like authenticity is the foundation. If you're going to fake it, if you're going to sell a used car, that's people remember that. I don't think there's too many people out there that would ever say I wasn't authentic when I'm talking to you, my eyes are on you. You and I are having this conversation. I'm not looking over your shoulder. I'm not trying to see who else is in a room. We are having the conversation right now. And then the last one, the third one that I think, as mentioned, I was at Colorado Buffalo. So Deion Sanders is I'm a huge fan of. And he says, if you don't believe in yourself, how will others believe in you? And so for me, being decisive, I would say that's one of the qualities I bring to the table. Probably most prevalent is I make decisions, a lot of decisions every single day. They are not 100% accurate every time. I think I have a pretty good track record. I've proven a pretty good track record over the years. But for me, if you show the leadership, that's really what separates, for me, that's what separates leaders, is if you can be decisive, make a decision that sometimes is not very easy. We can change, we can adjust as time goes on. But being decisive, one, it will save you time. It helps with clarity of where people are going. And we get a month or two into it, maybe that's not working. All right, it might be a small tweak, but it's not starting back over from zero usually. And so being decisive is one of the biggest attributes I would say any leader really has to focus on. And it brings figure out how you can do that to communicate with your people, to make sure you're making good decisions, not just knee-jerk reaction decisions.
That's such a good tip. And, I think we get so stuck in the details sometimes that it can be hard to just make a call and move with it. But like, hopefully those who are struggling with that right now hear this and get the encouragement they need to make the decision that's in front of them. For those who want to follow you on your journey, where can they find you? What links should I put in the description?
Yeah, well, I can send you a couple. Obviously, LinkedIn is something. It's probably one of the easiest ways to get a hold of me, and I'm happy. I'm on it just about every day, and so answering questions. I get hit up all the time. I'm happy to do that. 360dg.com is our current website, which you can connect with my company, our company, as well as csidmc.com. Both will bring you back to me, but probably LinkedIn is the best handle to get me at. And just remember that celebrate all those small wins is probably something that's super important for everybody to keep focus on. Time is a great storyteller, and so when you look back, take some of those small wins because those small wins do lead up to big wins. And whether it's on an annual basis, whether on a weekly basis or a daily basis, make sure that you're taking that time to create that story for yourself.
That's beautifully said. And I think a lot of times we're not doing that. In fact, a lot of the people that I interview, it's like the first time they've ever done that.
Yeah. True.
So, this has been so lovely to have this conversation with you. Everybody be sure to check out those resources that Trevor just mentioned. And if you liked hearing a story, be sure to like and subscribe on this video. There's so many inspirational interviews that are still to come. But in the meantime, Trevor, thank you so much for taking time and
Melissa,
talking.
such a pleasure. Such a pleasure to meet you. And thank you for having me on today. And best of luck.
Thank you. And to everybody who's watching this, go out there, get inspiration and get donuts. Bye, everyone.